Moo.
I made it a PC.
Can we ever begin this on a strong note? All right, ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Cream is rising to the top. Bella at the top of 31. Memorial at the top of 30. Harlingen and San Benito at the top of 32. Will we get to the Battle of the Arroyo with an unbeaten scenario?
Yeah, it's real interesting on all these different little scenarios. But the Harlingen and San Benito one, I mean, you're talking about a team that nobody wants to face in San Benito against a team that's trying to make sure that they position themselves in a good spot, because the top person in that district looks like they might be playing like Edinburgh or could be PSG.
Well, we're going to talk big and small because
Yeah.
it's time to start looking at the playoff crystal ball. But first, speaking of VHS, speaking of Lopez, they're both for real, man, as we're going to talk about. Amazing.
Yeah, and we saw at the beginning of the year, I thought that Lopez Edinburgh
They
game,
played each other, right?
Yeah, battle of
That's important.
cupcakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Lopez, they got their first win under Starkey, and what can you say? They've just been rolling ever since. And Edinburgh has, they took some lumps at the beginning of the season, and all of a sudden now they're doing something with a bunch of guys that you just look at, you're like, wow, how are they doing?
Low
this?
numbers, not right off the bat, they don't strike you as the most talented team. But when we get to 31, we're going to talk about the spirit and the secret of success for the Bobcats, because at this point 4-1. So it's Lopez in a three-way tie. So 2 weeks to go in the season, my man, and we got some real good races percolating. Speaking of which, how about this race in District 30? It's turned into the nut house again. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, there's 4 teams tied at 2-2. Now, which of them teams that are left do you think has the best chance to make it?
Well, you look at it right now, Mackay has a good chance because they have their bye at the first week of district, so they've got an extra game. Whereas Rowe, they've got to beat La Jolla, because if La Jolla does not win, or if La Jolla beats them,
then
they've
got to play Memorial, and that's not going to happen.
And that's Memorial's homecoming, I believe.
Right. So right now you look at Rowe, who had that great start. We're talking about a 5-0 team, but they have struggled a little bit lately with injuries. In fact, Rowe and McAllen both have struggled with injuries. All right. Mm-hmm. So Jesus Sanchez, the quarterback, it's hard to replace a guy that's completing 72% of his passes, man. So if they get him back, they'll be in good shape, because the defense has played relatively well, much improved this year. McAllen has all kinds of injuries in the backfield, but every guy they plug in is a star, man. How about this Gutierrez kid?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and that's a nice luxury to have, because they've been rolling with, trying to figure out a nice system there.
Yeah.
And it looks like it came together. It took 3 overtimes to beat Rowe, but, granted, Rowe was only had 1 loss.
That's right, and they were banged up, so Roy Gutierrez, hey kids, there's a testament out there to a guy who waited his turn. He had like 202 coming in. He was a spot player. He had some talent, but he didn't give up. And when your number is called, when your name is called, man, you got to be ready to play. And this kid was 3 touchdowns, 119 yards. So there's a bunch of guys right now around the valley that have been up in the limelight, and now they're you can't give up, because your name's going to get called again. You just have to believe that. And this guy was ready to play, led him to the win. Overtime, he was doing everything.
Yeah.
Man, incredible. And McAllen, all of a sudden at 2-2, even with those injuries, Yarton went down, I heard, and another kid. So McAllen, though, has a favorable schedule. Now, who are we looking at, who they're going to play? They got who?
Palmview.
They got Palmview, and then they got Admission. So, we were talking of Palmview. We're thinking they were climbing to 2. And all of a sudden, they got beat pretty good last week by Mission. Man.
Yeah, Mission, it was very surprising. I mean,
First district win for Coy.
Yeah, in the rain, after the thunderstorms, and they come out and they shock Palmview, and
38-13. Hey, remember last week? Everybody's giving me a hard time now, right?
About
I said, are we going to have a rain week?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sure enough,
and we got
are.
it. Yeah.
But you know what? The games I saw, the one night it rained like crazy, and all of a sudden it was perfect when the game started. So it was crappy at the beginning, but it was fine before then or after then. All right. So Rowe at La Jolla, that's the game.
Yeah.
Because La Jolla's 2-2 and Rowe is 2-2. And if La Jolla wins, who do they finish with? Palmview. And that's a rivalry game. It's a winnable game. You think La Jolla at home takes out Rowe? I'd like to see an injury report before I make a choice.
But here's the thing with La Jolla, you're talking about a really, really good offense or defense. Excuse me.
Gritty team, man.
And their offense, they've been able to put together some moments. Not a full game on offense, but their defense has held them in games. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see right now if they can stop Rowe's offense, because Mackay did a decent job.
Right, and here's the thing: if they do, then they can have a chance to win that game. But if Rowe gets Sanchez back at quarterback, and they still got the receivers and Raudel, I mean, in other words, you would expect that that's a difficult matchup for La Jolla because they're not going to score 30 points. So they got to hold them to 15 or something like that. But as we've seen, they're capable of doing that. That's why I make it the signature game of the week. Palmview at McAllen, another game, 2-2 teams. Those are the 4 teams at 2-2. So, gosh, I mean, McAllen teams have some injuries, but they're starting to come around. McAllen, that was a big win for them, as you say. Now Lincoln at Memorial,
tough
Lincoln,
year for them.
Yeah, Lincoln at 2-3, and they play the best team in the district, and this is their last game. And so, unless they can pull off a big time upset, then they're probably not going to make it.
And Memorial, I mean, in that district, Memorial is the San Benito of that district. Albeit far from San Benito.
Indeed. Yeah, they played each other, if I remember correctly, and it wasn't so close. You know what? I think it might be a little better game now if they play, and that's not for me to necessarily say.
But they're throwing the ball. They're throwing the ball now. They're spreading the field out, which when you have their running game, that helps. And they're a lot more dynamic than they were earlier in the season.
And the good defenders are starting to tell the tale over there. So now I feel like Memorial's in good shape. Now looking ahead. You didn't take your homework, man?
No, I did, but I got it on my iPad, and so I'm just looking at you.
iPad, looking at me. Well, there ain't much to see. Move along. Del Rio is the king of the hill out there this year. Their defense is phenomenal, man. They give up like 12 or 14 points a game. We've seen that from them before. United South is hanging with them, 18-13. Del Rio won the ball game. United has come back, and them and Southwest are 3-2. And Alexander is climbed to 3-2 as well, so we were counting them out. So that race is far from decided. I believe my crystal ball has Memorial as a big school because they're second ranked among the teams enrollment-wise, and there's no way they can fall to small. So South probably has the best schedule left, so maybe they'll come in second. South will be a big school, and if United makes it, it will be as well. So it's a little early to be talking about it, but today, as we talk district by district, I'm just going to bring up the things that I know so far. All right. Now, what about this crazy 31-6A? Because, Vela and PSJ North, that was a good ball game, man. It was a good, hard-hitting game.
Yeah, and PSJ North, I mean, I was very shocked they got the first score, then they got that turnover with on Vela's side of the field.
And there was a fumble.
And I thought they go up 13, 14.
How will Vela respond? Well, they went up 7-0 courtesy of an 11-play, 74-yard drive that was textbook, man. Textbook 1950s. Because they ran the quarterback sneak. I was over there, Hosanna, Hosanna. Hey, I couldn't believe it. And they surprised Vela because they didn't run to the wings as they did in the second half, but they ran right up the gut. Wide up the gut says, what was it called? Porky Pig? Was that the character that said that? The quarterbacks, and believe me, there were about 27 of them for PSJ North. 3 is the one that is intriguing to me, Arturo Beltran. And from what I understand, that guy, big, long, tall, skinny basketball player, he was supposed to be the starter at the beginning of the year so they could put the other kids other places, right? He had been hurt in an off-season incident, so he wasn't ready to go. But you know what? He ran for like 88 yards, and he's got some good skills, and he's going to be tough. Those guys, I'll tell you, PSJ North came to play and they came to hit. They may not have won the game, but they were slugging it, man. They really were. Physically, I thought they were a little bit of a stronger team.
Yeah, and we'll find out right now because PSJ North actually finishes the season with some tough games. Economies and Edinburgh North. We'll find out how good this team is and how hurt they may or may not be.
Edinburgh High, right?
What did I say?
It's Edinburgh High and
Edinburgh High and Economies.
So, but here's the thing. Gaetan and Chris, number 28, and 6, Leroy Vasquez, man, that guy was killing everybody. He's a really good football player. I saw the numbers and I've seen a few snippets, but watching him in person, he just likes to hit. He was lighting people up. So it's 14-6 Vela. They led at the half, and quite frankly, I was surprised at the way things had shaken out that they were able to get that lead, but Christian broke a big run. Christian Flores, Nate Garcia broke a 51-yard run, so they made some big plays. But they come out in the third quarter and get 16 points, man, in 6 minutes, and they put them away, and North never really recovered from there.
Yeah, and, you give it up for Vela. Vela's,
on the road, baby.
Yeah, on the road. The weather wasn't, conducive to a passing attack.
It was funny, man, because we got there real early, and the rains came down. There was a lightning show, and everybody ran to the cars, and I thought, man, we're not going to play this game.
Yeah.
It was going to be Saturday at 2, Saturday at 4.
Yeah.
And you know what? About 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, it was perfect. It was nice. It was cool. There was no rain. The field was drained beautifully. Those guys deserve a ton of credit over there. And, they played the game, and it was well played and hard fought. And, PSJ North came up short, but that's a heck of a good second-place team. so far.
Yeah.
They still got a shot, man.
Yeah, and they aren't alone at second place right now in that district. So it's going to be interesting because one of the teams that is kind of shocking everybody is Edinburgh.
They absolutely are, man. I'm here to tell you that sometimes a team will play above its overall talent level because it has chemistry and because it has fire and it has energy and belief. Now, we were emailing back and forth the other day. I said, that team plays with heart. And you said what?
Well, most of the time when you say heart, you mean,
they tried,
they're
but they
losing.
weren't
They're usually
right.
losing.
Yeah.
And this team, look, I mean, you ask anybody, you look at the depth, you look at the talent.
Not a lot of kids on that sideline.
Not a lot of size.
Uh-uh.
And you give it up to the coaching staff for what they've done because, they all intents and purposes, they probably should have, like talent-wise, lost Edinburgh North and Economies.
Right.
And they didn't.
Right. They did. Let me tell you what it symbolizes Edinburgh High to me. Now, I got to look up his name, but they got a guard that's about 5'6". 62 is his number, and he's a hard customer, man. He was lined up, and he looked up, and there was Sebastian Boulos, who's about 10 million feet tall and 3,000 pounds, I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to block. He didn't phase him, and he put a lick on that guy. And of course, he's not going to block that guy all night because Boulos is got college size, man. But the way he attacked that kid when because he could have gone like the cartoon and started moonwalking. No, man, he put a lick on that guy, man. And so I thought, wow, okay, that to me is what it's all about. They don't have the size and they don't have the this and that, but they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Period. Beautiful. And D'Anthony had another great game.
Yeah.
Every game, look, he scoops up a punt and he eludes the first guy and he's off for 20 and 30 yards. This one was a 50-yard return, set him up big time. Now, I don't know what it was about this week, but there are some of the most amazing onside kicks in the history of the game.
Really?
The one at Vela, I told you about, Austin, the lefty. He clips it, top of the ball, but boom, up in the air, and there comes Santos there, right there, man. A huge play in the third quarter. Edinburgh High and Edinburgh North each got one. Edinburgh High's one was like way down the field. The dude was like kind of checking it out like it was going to go out of bounds, and it didn't. Here comes Cifuentes, 28. Boom, he got it, and they went and scored, man. Amazing.
Yeah. And you look, if you want to win at this time of the season, you got to have some luck go your way, especially with the onside kicks.
Yeah.
You need that. I give it up to that. By the way, Coach Campos, his offense finally put up 28 points against Edinburgh North. You figure rivalry game; those are usually really low scoring.
Yeah, I've seen it be
games.
8-3 one year.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: a little luck, you say. Sometimes, as Darryl Roy used to say, luck is a residue of design, man. So after they get the ball down there, Edinburgh High is trying to put it away. They get 4th and 10. A couple of, I think it was 2 motion penalties, and we're like, hey, or something. Not good. But what did they do? They didn't crater the Bobcats in the past. Would have 4th and 10. Nathan Mades rolls out and throws a touchdown pass to this little Ramon Lopez, 24. He was great against the Jags. He was great against North. That's the rivalry man right there, man. He ain't caught but passes in 2 games all year, and he's killed both of those teams.
Yeah.
26-yard diving catch, and Edinburgh High went on to win. They stopped, and North came back.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing about Edinburgh North. They opened it up in the 4th quarter, and Christian was slinging that ball, man, like the Christian of old, okay? Just have confidence in that kid that he can do that the whole game, and that team may be nasty, you know? Because he was 6 out of 8, and he was firing it around, and, they just have to relax and take a deep breath and play. Because all they got is PSJ Memorial and the Bears, we say.
Yeah.
Now, Memorial and the Bears played at Barnburn, 31-26. So neither one of those is I would rather have their schedule than PSJ North. Or Economides, by the way. So Economides, it's a weird thing. In that district, Economides is a game ahead right now. 3-2 to 2-3 for North. But if you ask me who I thought was going to make it, I would say the Cougars, man. Why?
Yeah, because Economies ends with a brutal matchup. You're going to play Vela and you're going to play PSA
Raiders
North.
and the SaberCats. And look, if the Jags get their complement back in full strength, they can beat both of those teams, okay? They can. But, right now, I don't know if Rogers coming back. I don't know if Medellin is going to be there. The 78 is out. So they've had some...
They're likely wounded. Right
yes,
now.
They're like McCallum. They're like Rowe, man. Some key injuries at the wrong time. Because, again, and Coach Gabe Pena said all year long, he said it in spring, we have a chance to win it. We can make it, but depth is going to be our Achilles heel. And if we can just stay healthy, then we have the talent to win. And I always agree with him, and I still do. So to me, it's going to be one of those things where the trainer might be the MVP this week. He and she can get those kids back to strength, man, because without it, they're going to have a hard time. And so if they lose one game, they're 3-4. Or 3-4. And then if they lose another, 3-5. So North could conceivably lose one, end up tied with the Jags, but they have the tiebreaker, 17-6 victory. So the Jags have it tough, man.
Yeah. We're getting to 31-5-8, by the way. I see all these people asking about Lopez and stuff like that. We're getting to 32-5-8, all that stuff. That'll be next segment.
They're like, quit talking about Edinburgh, who cares?
Yeah. But,
we care.
Yeah, but no, but the district, I mean, this district, I mean, look, we already know that pretty much PSG Memorial and PSG are pretty much,
Winless and one win.
yeah,
But you know what? The Bears are scary, so North better not sleep on them.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
yeah. And they remember at the beginning of the year, they were putting up some points against Harlingen South.
51 against Rivetta, man.
So,
So,
yeah.
you know, here's the thing. Edinburgh North has enough talent to make it happen, man, but, you know, they just can't seem to get that mesh for 4 quarters
Yeah.
because, you know, people thought they were going to beat the Bobcats, but they didn't.
No,
28-21.
yeah.
28-7 at one point. All right, let's go down south. Harlingen and San Benito 5-0. Who's going to be that other team? Westlaco 3-2. Then Los Fresnos, Hannah, and East at 2-3. I'm telling you right now, East has to schedule its way. Mm-hmm. They have the easier schedule.
And if you look at this right now, their matchup would be very interesting because they might play Vela the way Dave Campbell has it, you know, and you know,
If Westlaco and East make it, they're small.
yeah,
And if Vela make it, they're small.
Yeah.
PS State North is big. Edinburgh North, their economy is big, and Edinburgh High is small.
yeah,
So down here, here's the thing. Harlingen and San Benito will be big unless Los Fresnos gets in.
Mm-hmm.
And Los Fresnos, man, they couldn't stay on the field with Harlingen. Were you
Yeah.
surprised at that?
I was because you know this is the Harlingen team who's let teams stay with them this year
At times.
at times. You
But
know,
lately, they starting to get
yeah,
totally cold-blooded,
Mm-hmm.
man. They're peaking at the right time. So San Benito and Harlingen, it could come down to that, man.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know, but Harlingen plays Hannah this week, so you know
They killed
Hannah-
those Fresnos,
yeah.
and Hannah was down 42-0 to San Benito, man. Eric read it with 4 touchdowns to 4 different guys, man. I'm looking at the story, and I'm like, God, they just keep, every week there's a guy that's doing a great thing, man. That team is something. It really is. What I like about San Benito is it's been challenged a time or two this season, but they don't play more than a bad quarter.
Yeah,
Right?
and that was Los Fresnos. The game against Los Fresnos, they went down against Los Fresnos
13-0,
early,
yeah.
and then they were like, okay, you know, and they just take off. And that's the thing about San Benito. I was with Matt Stepp from Dave Campbell's Texas Football this week over in Laredo, and you know, we were talking, and he's like, "Are they as good as Harlingen's team when they had, you know, when they went 4 rounds?" And I said, "I don't know because that team had a bunch of names and they played up to their ability.
Yeah.
This team has been basically taking the Valley by storm, and nobody
Yeah.
really knew what to
Right.
expect. And you know, but
So what you tell them?
well, they could be."
Yeah.
Or maybe next year because this team, remember, they're
They're
not
juniors, man.
Yeah.
Most of them.
So, you know, maybe, you know, if not this year, next year. And, you know, because San Benito and Dan Gomez, what he's done over there, extraordinary. Because, you know, what they had
10-3
last year
man.
and then this year.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'm happy for San Benito, and they may well go 16-0, but they're gonna have to work a ways to be with that 11 team.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. And I'm not trying to pick
And
sides.
I went with
That's
that
just what
team
I
to
think,
Abilene.
man. Give me
Yeah.
a break, you know. Come on. Now, are they the best team in the Valley? Yes. Although I'd like to see them play Valley.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. What do you think?
It'd be nice.
Be a fun game.
Yeah.
Well, if Los Fresnos gets in,
They'll be
then
big school.
San Benito will be small. Harlingen's the second-ranked team in enrollment, so it'll be Harlingen and Los Fresnos.
Wow.
And so
Be
conceivably it could happen, man. That'd be cool right there. All right, Harlingen and Hannah. Now, hey, Sam Duffy.
Yes,
Sam Duffy.
yeah.
I had him called Hayes or Ezekiel. I don't know what it was. 91-yard touchdown pass,
Yeah.
man. That's how you win a game, right there. And hey, Jesse Castro's coming on. If you notice, 210 yards, couple of touchdowns. Sometimes people like to say, well, no, man. I'm telling you, he's a money player, and he's coming on. All those kids are playing good right now, except
Tim?
it's starting to remind me of 12, 13, 14 with the Cardinals because they don't have the back that can get them 150 yards. Because Tienda, and he's the toughest kid in the Valley, man, okay? I'm a believer. I saw him fly. But he's not healthy, and he's working his butt off to try to play. He needs to sit for his hand.
Yeah.
To
and,
me.
and you could sit possibly this week. I mean, the
Get in
game
the
is
pool,
tough.
man. Do a little lifting if you
The
can.
game's tough, but you have to remember, you're not playing for just the district title. You're just-
Arroyo, man,
Yeah.
because they need him to be at as much strength as possible for that game. They should be able to beat Hannah on the road because I believe Hannah's a star has been in the dissension. And on the other
Yeah.
hand, you know, it's had a pretty good season, but you know, you can't when San Benito's throwing it around, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna
It's
stay with
really
it.
hard. I mean, especially when, you know, you give it up to Coach Guess and what he's been able to do over there. But,
It's a good year.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, when Hannah's in that tough district, we always say it's a good year because they rise as far as they can get, and then they get knocked down. You know, they haven't made the playoffs since 09. Remember?
Yeah.
It was Chavez. They went
Yeah,
9-2, remember? Or 10-2.
Yeah, they lost to Edinburgh in the first round. Yeah, I remember that. With Tom Campos was the OC back then.
Yeah, no, Hannah lost to San Benito or to Edinburgh in the playoffs. Yeah,
Yeah, first round.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right.
With the Blue Eyes.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Rivera and Los Fresnos. Now, Los Fresnos. Here's the thing. if they beat Rivetto, who's 1-7, 0-5, then they'll be 3-3. That makes the Weslaco game the game
crucial.
Yeah, it's crucial because Weslaco is at home against San Benito. I may go over and check it out. I don't think that Weslaco right now has the pace and the ability to score to hang with San Benito. Although the defense, let's see what that Weslaco defense can do with San Benito's offense, because that's going to be the key. They're not going to score no 40 points.
Yeah,
they're not.
No.
I mean, if they do, then high five. But it ain't happened so far for the most part. So let's say Weslaco doesn't beat San Benito. It then comes down to Los Fresnos and Weslaco, and so Edinburgh High will be rooting for Los Fresnos, right? Because they want San Benito to stay up there.
Yeah,
and the other teams want them to go down there.
Yeah,
nobody wants to play them.
Yeah,
somebody's going to have to. East and Harlingen South. Okay, here's the thing. Oh, by the way, go back to Harlingen for a second. I wanted to mention this kid's name, Keenan Fuentes. He's a guy I saw last year that I liked athletically, and he's in and out of the mix, man. I mean, sometimes I see him do stuff and sometimes not, but I know the kid's athletic, and so they get the ball to that kid in space and he can go.
Yeah.
I think he scored a touchdown against those Fresnos, and so they don't have a name player. They don't have one guy you're like, oh my God, but they got 6 or 8 kids who are very athletic on offense and on defense, and so I'm not going to make no predictions, but it's going to be a fun game, man. Okay, now East and Harlingen South. South, the star, I think, has started to fall. They had a good start, and we really liked the way they were playing ball, and they just haven't been able to piece the wins together these days.
Yeah, and they're 1-4 in district right now. They're on the way outside looking in right now.
Yeah, they have to win 3 or win 2 and get some help, and I just don't think 3 and 4 is going to get you in. I really don't. Okay, so now let's see. Playoff picture I had written down. Look at all this scribbling, man. I worked my butt off, man. I need some extra money. You know what I mean? All right. And Los Fresnos is out. Harlingen and San Benito are big versus PSJ North and either Jags or Cougars, right? Now, if they're in, PSJ North against Los Fresnos is a possibility. Harlingen will get Condomitas or North. EHS San Benito, and then Vela against Weslaco or East.
Yeah.
Weslaco and East have great defenses. I would like to see those teams have a shot at stopping Vela.
Yeah.
Because I think that there are certain teams that match up well with others, and that would be interesting. That's a toughness game. Can you hit and play tough enough football to be in that game? Let me tell you something about Vela, and then we'll go to the 5As that everybody cares about. Hey, man. Actually, it's kind of cool. There's a lot of 5A fans.
Yeah.
Badass, I love it. Vela's playing better defense. They're big up front, and those kids make plays. Pablo Trevino and there's 92 Gonzalez. Those are not the big kids that's standing there holding the lamp. No, they're making plays. Pablo had 10 tackles, man. His chase speed for a guy that's kind of big, no, he's tough. And then you got Tim Ellington, 94. He used to be a linebacker. He can play on the edge. He's not that big, 170 something, but he's fast. He made a sack. Linebacker Josh Box is going to get you 10 tackles a game. And here's the guy, the magic player right now, Adrian Acosta, 32. Who? Adrian Acosta, 32. Had an interception, 7 tackles. He makes plays, man. He's playing great lately. The Vela defense is only giving him 18 points a game in district. You forget about the 96 points that Ed Couch and Victoria East had. That's a way better defense. The yards don't show it, but they stop teams inside the 20. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway.
Hey, real quick on the Vela thing. Hey, to the parents, when we put a poll out that says who's going to win, PSG North or Vela, it's not bullying, okay? Channel 5 did the same thing. I think you need to calm down a little bit, all right? It's just football, all right? It's a poll. It's not bullying.
It's not always against you.
Yeah, so the world's not against you, okay? So
some people would argue that the world is for you.
Yeah, but you just realize that we try to be positive here, but a poll is just a poll. It's nothing more than that. So
yeah, I mean, well, hey, listen, intensity brings out sometimes, I don't want to say irrationality, but I mean, just maybe some shade short of rational, right? I mean, and the thing is, that group is under siege a little bit lately. It's been a tough year, man, and so I can understand why people are a little bit gun shy, a little bit like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. You can be a fan. You don't have to get fanatical.
You don't have to be offended.
Yeah.
Hey, I made that up. No, in good faith, I mean, I got my ties to Vela. You know that, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, it's never about one is better than the other or we for one or another. So I hope y'all understand that. And,
if that was the case, Rob Vela would be fired from our team. So, we love Rob.
Yeah, well, and bottom line is if you want to discuss it with us, and give us a shout, man. I'm always glad to talk about it.
By the way, we're not that other guy. We don't post the kids' pictures and stuff like
right,
that.
so I mean,
stop thinking it's us.
Wow, get mad at them, not at home. All right, so.
Yeah,
that's the 6-8.
that's the 6